Hi everybody, welcome back to Kosikosi. This is the other time of learning with me, Gervais, in English. Let me hope everything you're doing is surrounded by English learning, because I hope the journey never stops, and as you've started, you don't have to be discouraged, you have to continue. Today we are onward to this lesson of the past simple past. You know the tenses. We have been looking about the tenses and we looked about the present simple tense. Today we are going to see the past simple tense, which is very important. As we said, we need to talk about the last days, the last week, yesterday. Don't forget those words. They are the first ones that we have to know. Yesterday, last week, last Saturday, last month, last year, because when you tell the events or the moments, you share the situations that went on that time, you'll be using those words. That's why I tell you to start utilizing those words. The past simple tense is very easy as well. We looked about the present using the regular verbs. As I told you, we have some regular verbs. They are regular, they follow the order, but there are others which are disobedient. I can say that they are disobedient. They don't follow the orders. They just go however they want. But today, let's first look at the ones that we can control, the ones that we can say they are regular. The verbs, we have different categories of regular verbs today, but I want to tell you the verbs ending in consonants. Let's say the verb to watch. Watch. I'm watching movies. Let's also say the verb to play. I'm playing football. We also going to use the verb visit. There are three verbs: watch, play, visit. Those are the verbs that end in consonants. We're gonna see a very simple trick of how to conjugate them in simple past tense so that we can start sounding natural in English. The verb watch in past becomes watched. Watched. Do you see what the change is? Watched. What about play? Play becomes played. What about visit? Visit becomes visited. Visited. You see the change now? The change is that we have just simply added ed to the verb. Ed. Played. Watched, visited. All other regular verbs in English that end in consonants, that's the simple way they're conjugated. Watched, played, visited. Will we see together all other verbs that end in ed when they go to the past. But as the sample today, let's take watch, play, visit. Those are the words, the verbs ending in consonants, which only simply need to add ed to the past. I watched movies last night. I watched movies last night. Oh, do you know what? I played with my friends last week. I played with my friends last week. I visited my uncle to the countryside. I visited my uncle to the countryside last week. I visited my aunt last year. Those are the verbs that end in consonants that you have to know how to use them. The second category that I would like to talk about today is the verbs ending in the letter Y. Y. Let's say the verb to cry. Crying. Crying. Let's say try. You remember from the last video I told you to try is getting to do something you can't actually do, but you try it. You do it when you can't do it actually. You try to do it. Try. Let's also say fly. The three verbs. Let's use cry, try, and fly. Those are the verbs. Unfortunately, I've brought you an irregular verb here, which is fly. Maybe some of you are thinking we can say flied, but that can be very weird. That's why I'm going to replace it with fry. Fry. Maybe you think you're confused because you don't know the pronunciation of fly, of flying, and fry, of cooking. We saw that the last time when we were talking about the lesson of the kitchen. Flying of the birds and frying when you're cooking, frying like chips. So let's use these verbs, which is fry, cry, and try. The verbs end in Y, but the Y is also following the letter. Like in cry, Y follows R. In try, Y follows what? Follows R. In fry as well, the Y follows the consonant R. This is how we do it. I say, I tried. I tried. Do you see how it changes now? I cried very loudly. I cried. Do you see how it changes? It is I-E-D. I said, I fried some chips at home. I fried some chips at home. Do you get now? These verbs are ending in Y and the Y changes into I. Do you see it? I say fried, fried. And I say tried because it is regular. Cried. Do you see now? It will be taking the Y into I and then we add ED as normal as we said because the verbs actually end in ED when they go to the past and when they are regular. So you will also find many other verbs like you just try to tell me in the comments because maybe I know these 3 verbs but you may know more than I do. Say I cried every time. I tried every time. I fried some chips at home. Tell me other verbs that you think end in Y and which can follow this order. Or tell me, did you ever see a verb which is somewhat confusing while it ends in Y like this? The first category was the verb ending in consonant, which take the ED to be the past. I played, I visited, and I watched. Those are the verbs that we used. You will tell me the others. The second category was the verbs ending in a Y, but also when Y follows the consonant. We say tried, cried, and what? Fried. Those are the verbs. The third category today is the verbs ending in a consonant as well, but which have this pattern which we call consonant, vowel, consonant. You may not understand. You think I'm bringing maths here? No, I'm not confusing you. The verb ending in consonant, vowel, consonant. Let's say stop, for example. Stop. As you see, the word stop has consonant T, vowel O, P as a consonant. It's now the pattern of consonant, vowel, consonant. The 3 are ending the verb. These ones have got their own rule which have to be followed as well. Let's say the verb to stop. What about the verb to mop? What about the verb to clap? Clap. Let's take the 3 verbs. Stop, mop, clap. The 3 verbs have the pattern that I've told you, which is consonant, vowel, consonant. Then, for these verbs, the last letter, like clap, the last consonant will be doubled to be added with ED to get the past tense. Let's say, I clapped. Do you see how it is? Clapped. It will be now double P, ED, because the verb ends in the pattern of consonant, vowel, consonant. Do you get that? I stopped the bus, but it didn't stop. I stopped. You see, stopped, the last consonant is doubled. You have to pay attention to those things, especially when writing. I'm just telling you in writing because you have to be also aware of that, because maybe sometimes you may need to write a letter. You may need to have a written document that you have to present to somebody. You can't just say I stopped and use a single P. That would be insane actually. So you start using I stopped. But you get the general rule. It's that the regular verbs take the ed in the past. They will always be sounding like stopped, cried, jumped, danced, everything like that. You get ed. Now the last section of these regular verbs are the verbs ending in a vowel. Verbs ending in a vowel, and they're very easy to conjugate because they just take a D. Let's say the verb to break. Break. Break, which is not breaking something, but braking when you are riding. Let's say you are riding a motorbike and you brake. Do you see that? Braking, you take the brake. Let's say the verb to bake as well. It ends in E. Bake. Let's say the word to race. Race. I say I raced. I braked the car. Let's say dance. That's another verb. Dance, which ends in a vowel. It just takes D to be the past. I danced. What else do you think can be the verb? You are going to share with me other ideas, because maybe these are the ideas I've got, but I want you to participate as well in learning English. You can also make me know many others. We can go through this journey together. Thank you very much for this video. It was about the past. Keep revising. If you think you didn't maybe know anything, you can just go back to the video in the first minutes. Let's meet in the next lesson. Bye bye.